Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Qianlin, and today my topic is living along the coast, building green defenses to mitigate the negative effects of coastal erosion in Auckland. First, I give some general introduction about it. Coastal erosion is the process of wearing away a material from a coastal profile due to the imbalance in the supply and export of material from a certain section. And this is a natural and ongoing process. It's a critical part of the natural character of the dynamic coastal environment, so there is nothing inherently hazardous about the coast. The hazards arise from the interaction of human use, for example, the property and the infrastructure. Coastal erosion is caused by mainly three factors. The natural factors such as the waves, the wind and currents, and the human activities, like the inappropriate development of the coastal lines, construction of the seawalls and the dams. The third is the climate change. The rising sea level will lead to the acceleration of the coastal erosion to a large extent. And my research question is, first is, how can the landscape strategies be used to mitigate the coastal erosion in sensitive areas? And how will these designs influence the sustainable development of the coastal communities? First, the Auckland has over 3,000 kilometers of coastline, and according to the Auckland Regional Council's report, almost the entire length of the Auckland coastline is susceptible to coastal erosion. And a range of different techniques have been used by the engineers to prevent this coastal erosion in Auckland. These human interventions are the most common response to this problem recently. For example, the seawalls, which has a very long history, and the beach nourishment, which is well known and widely used in the tourism industry, but this engineering method have their drawbacks. For example, they are very expensive, and they can the seawalls can disrupt natural drift, and so this method just transfers these problems to another area. This image shows the important process of natural drift. It shows that the sediment is moved along the coast in a predominantly northwards direction. So nowadays, because of the extensive urbanization and the spatial charm of the coastline, many buildings are constructed near the shore, but this could be a big problem if these buildings are constructed in the low-lying land, and coastal erosion can deteriorate the coastal environment, and which has far-reaching impacts on the ecological, social, economic, and cultural aspects. So it's quite necessary to explore an integrated solution to solve this problem. So the aim is attempt to explore some resilient strategies and interventions from the perspective of landscape architecture to mitigate the coastal erosion in Auckland. And the outcome is help to allow the coastline to development in a healthy and resilient way. My methodology comprises 5 parts: the contextualization, the case study, referring to and analyzing the successful case studies which are similar to my project, and the advantages among them will be adopted for my project. And third is the site analysis. During this process, the field work and the GIS analysis will be adopted in this part. And the design process comes from the above 3 steps. My theoretical context is under the ecological urbanism. The core idea is to suggest work with nature, not to work against it. And this adaptive design for ecological urbanism is coined by Nina. It draws on the current ecological science and its response to urbanizing landscapes that are under pressure from the competing resource demands and land use. And this adaptive design the long-term survival of the human and other species demands adaptability, which is predicated on the resilience. And the planning and design goals are including the economic, ecological health, and cultural vitality. And my first technical context is the dunes. And the dunes can act as a buffer zone to against wave energy and provide a sediment reservoir to replace the eroded foreshore sediments. This technique will be used as a very important part in my research project. And second one is marshland. According to the study from Duke University, the marshland can worked as a natural buffer absorbs the rising sea level to mitigate the process of mitigate. And these images point out that when the sea level increases from 1 to 10 millimeters per year, the undisturbed marshland on the top image may have the neutral change while disturbing half the vegetation here and reducing the sediment supplies. It creates substantial changes. So this research about the role of the marsh is also very inspirational for me, and I will use it in my design. The third technique is about the softened coastline. It's a technique about softening these hard walls by building a wider space. And this can create a softer coastline up to height. And this has some advantages. One is this softened coastline can absorb the most of the energy before the storm surge reaches these hard walls. And it upgrades the look, enhances the biodiversity. My first case study is about the 3 different countries use the artificial reef balls in the sea. The first case study, the first one is a project about the Grand Domis Coast Hotel. The image shows that after installing the submerged reef balls, the beach weight has shown an adverse change from 1998 to 2001. And second is a project in the Narrowlake Golden Coast. It also shows a very good performance. And the third one is a project in New Zealand. It also shows the reef balls can perform very well. And this artificial reef balls, it can act as a beach erosion protectors. It provides a habitat for biota and causes no adverse impacts to the adjacent beaches and create recreational opportunities for the coast. The third is the dunes project. In the early 1990s, the storm severely eroded the degraded dune, leaving the large erosion scabs within a few meters of the some property boundaries. The restoration of the native sandbedding species on the seaward dune face has successfully restored the natural dune building and repaired the process, resulting in the seaward dune advance of 10 to 15 meters between 1998 and 2004. And recent data gathered from the site show that this option can offset the effects of the sea level rise in the future. This part is about my site introduction. First, the Auckland has, there are 2 types of coastlines, the beach and the cliffs. And I will focus on the beach erosion in the Auckland region. And according to the situations compared to the Hauraki Gulf, there are inner Hauraki Gulf, outer Hauraki Gulf, and west coast. And I will focus on the inner Hauraki Gulf. And the reasons for why I choose Arriva as my site research. First, according to a lot of reports from the government, have shown that Arriva is suffered from the coastal erosion. And this report says that in the future, it's likely erosion and possible erosion worsen from 13 meters to 28 meters. And besides that, and many news reports have also shown that the severe situation at Arriva. Arriva is located in the north of the central Auckland, just 14 kilometers and 20 meters drive. And this land was firstly acquired from the Maori in 1814, and it became a popular holiday destination in 1960s. And in the 2000s, a 12-story building was constructed. And for the Arriva, it's a very popular holiday destination. And one of the most valuable aspects of the site is its 3 kilometers golden beach. And Arriva is one of the most expensive housing price areas in Auckland. Here are some site photos about it, including the camping site and a lot of buildings here. And this is the site's leisure activities. Arriva is a perfect place for swimming, surfing, kite surfing, and non-relaxing walks. Here is some features about the site. First, sediment resources are mostly from the local rivers and creeks and from the eroding cliffs. And we can see here from this wind environment, it's from the southwest direction. And the sediment transport here. And the wave environment of the site is typically low energy wave climate. Surrounding headlands making the Arriva become a natural sheltered coast. And here are the reasons of the beach erosion which result in the site's coastal erosion. First is the human-induced factors. There is a long history of the human modifications to the natural environment at Arriva. For example, the sand mining and the building constructions are very close to the foreshore, and the construction of the rock seawalls and the estuary refinement. And the Waitemata Reef here was a very important point for the exit of the water from the Arriva estuary. The pre-development, the exit took a northerly direction, hugging the land, before diffusing into the Hauraki Gulf. And this produced a natural circulation of the sand from the sediment that was moved south by the longshore drift to be relocated north by the estuary currents. But in 1959, the natural estuary channel opening was relined using the explosives by the New Zealand Navy. So as a result, there was a change in the circulation pattern that naturally deposited sediment to the north. So it was a change in the estuary months that resulted in the estuary become a sediment sink. So during the large storm events, eroded sand is accumulated at the south and growing, and is pushed out to an offshore location, creating the tidal delta here. And in the 1960s, the central section here was the first place to record it the coastal erosion. Another factor is the natural factors. So the offshore slopes are about 1 in 100, and because of the tidal range of nearly 3 meters, so up to 300 of exposed sand at no tide, and with virtually no dry beach here at a high tide. So these combined factors finally result in the erosion along the shoreline at our river. Here is the historical efforts here at the site, and most of them about the sand enlargement. Here is the pictures here about the human interventions to deal with the coastal erosion. The site analysis includes the gist analysis and site investigation, which are both very important for providing the design basis. The first is the traffic analysis. The highway crosses the river, and from the net cover database, the whole river is covered by vast sediment, and very limited open spaces along the shore can be seen, except in the southern part here, and sand is accumulated here. And this gist analysis is about the elevation, shows that our river is very flat and with very no elevation, and when the sea level rises from 1 to 2 meters, large of areas will be under risk of flooding. This is the stormwater drain exit on the site. It shows that about 8 stormwater drains along the shore, and the stormwater just is discharged directly into the beach, resulting in the furthermore erosion. So my suggestion is to deal with this with the bioswale design, and the right image is a design scope. Third is, this is the existing dune spaces on the site. Only two parts here. And there lack of enough dune spaces, and they are too flat and with very poor management. This is the existing status. We can see from this image that currently there are two types of the defenses to protect the fragile coast. The blue lines are the sea walls currently, and they're protecting the housing area and existing car park here. And the green part here are the dune areas. They protect the north and the south side, the north and south side of the site. Here are some photos about the site. So about my approaches, the adaptive strategies are the common recognized nowadays to respond to the coastal problems, such as the erosion. And to be specific, they are protect, accommodate, and retreat. And this table summarizes the various technologies used under these different strategies. After comprehensively analyzing each compartment of a site, an integrated strategy will be used in my research. So this is the different problems which cause in the erosion, and use the different techniques to solve this problem. And my design scope is this red area. This part is about my design evolution. The first round is, this image shows the phase strategies. This is my phase strategies. In the first phase, I suggest installing a submerged artificial reef walls and recovering the white matter reef here by stimulating its original shape. This is done in order to recover its previous function of the sand circulation transport at our river. And in the second phase, sand is accumulated in the in the knee of the reef structures, and then in the free, sand is relocated along the shore by the natural forces. For example, the onshore drift and the estuary currents. And after the beach is widened, I suggest to build a vast overdue areas to protect the fragile coastal lines.
Wrapping up.
Okay, and here is an image shows the protection buffer zones. The first line is the artificial buffer zones, and this is dune buffer zones. And the green one is sloping green open spaces, and this is bioswale to reduce the stormwater before they enter the beach. And here is a town center. The first round, this is about combine the protection and accommodation strategies together to protect the whole site. So here is the master plan. And the whole site is divided into, here is the zoning plan. I divide it into 3 different areas.
Cutting to the chase.
We can see here, here is the sloping green spaces, which is just elevated 1.5 meters compared to this ground. So it will not block this, the views from the coast. And these 2 areas can protect the coast from the storm surges. Some reference about this is a bioswale design. And also the bikeway is designed between the sloping green spaces and the buildings. And this is a design area about the dunes and the sloping green spaces here. And this is about the area B.
I think we need to go to the yin.
Okay, this is an ecological steps which can resist the coastal erosion.
Nikolai.
Yeah. Okay. Show us the second.
Okay. Okay. Before my second round design work, I started some more relevant case study. First is about the compartmentalization concept. On this, okay, and this is a project about the W forest. This design is using an elevated boardwalk. Okay, this is very interesting about design the organic boardwork form and topography to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Case studies that
Yeah, this is.
the strategies of boardwalks, dunes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Qianlin.
Show us the new strategy now.
You reanalyze it.
Yeah, and my reanalyzing it. So for Areva, there are 3 coexisting identities on the residential buildings, the town center, and the nature reef. Currently, in the central part, many residential buildings are located here.
We can see the
Yeah.
upper one is the existing. The
Yeah,
bottom
this
one is the
existing.
proposed.
And this is my purpose.
Okay.
A lot of buildings are.
Next slide.
So my suggestion is change the scenarios to the public open space because of the future's erosion retreat. The possible retreat distance is about 20
We
net.
have time.
Yeah.
Finish it. Finish now. Finish now.
No.
Finish now.
Okay, show us the design.
It's not fair to everyone else.
Yeah.
That's Brazil, yeah?
Ah.
3 more people for Brazil.
Okay.
Just show us the. Okay, this is the strategies.
Yeah, this is a strategies about
Protect.
this is protect, retreat, protect, and accommodate work together as an
Yeah,
integrated.
and show us the design.
This is a master plan of the second round. It's on chat here.
And show us.
It's the different zones. Yeah, and this is the existing conditions and the proposed conditions by the site. This is boardwalk will be redesigned later. And this is area C.
Okay.
Yeah, area D. So that's it. Thank you.
Hey.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Keep it up now.
I should, because it's my turn. But I'm still absorbing that. And it was very interesting for me to see some of the case study from a place where I grew up. I grew up in the Mount, so to see the development of the Papamoa Beach, one of your case studies.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very interesting. I wrote some notes. Just as a small point, a couple of small points I think, that is I wasn't quite clear on what you meant by a bioswale.
No.
So it's just a little bit of attention to the use of specialist terminology. I think it actually was in there, but there was a lot to listen to. And obviously this is a practice, and so you'll be doing lots of reading because it's a practice. But I just want to say that even if you read quite a lot in your final exam, there are ways of reading, which ways of giving a presentation and reading which are more successful than others. So you can still read, but sort of engage with the the examiners or the audience more. So I think that it's not to say you can't do that, but it's kind of a little bit of practice about how you do that successfully. So, cool.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean it's an interesting project. It's not a new project. I worry a bit about how much design there is, to be honest. I mean, I happen to know the Ariwa Reef project, which looks remarkably like that. And I also know that there's quite a lot of kind of research that says that such reef structures don't work. So, and that's just my.
Which structures don't work?
Yes.
Which ones?
Well,
Those
the Ariwa one was discredited, and the one at
Papamoa.
So
as
the reef
well.
balls don't work.
Sorry?
The reef balls you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember the controversy about people with the weight to the waves and that sort of thing.
And whether it will build up the beach in the way that it's intended, and a lot of that design kind of rests on that premise. So it's a bit, kind of a difficulty that you might have. I agree. Yeah, I would have liked to see more about the bioswales. I didn't really see how they fit in, and it looked an interesting part of it, and what the purpose of them was. Again, we saw the beach build up, we saw the dunes, we saw the reefs, but we didn't actually have an explanation of what the bioswales were for. But yes, and compacted, too long. Yes. Those are my comments.
Yeah, so, what do you response?
I think it's a good. I guess the most important question was what's new about this project.
I mean,
she ran out of time, but new restorations have been done quite a bit. But what haven't been done is the retreat bit. Qianlin didn't make it very clear, but she sort of allows or gets rid of few lines of houses that are next to the coastline.
Right.
To allow this area to be open space to accommodate possible sea level rise. This is new, and it's a bit controversial because it's
Yes.
quite expensive, but and I think she needs to justify it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And what is also new is just the way she did the analysis and sort of deciding the 3 types of strategies and which
That's
goes
right.
where.
Yeah,
This
which
is
I think with more time and with less emphasis on the beginning background, it would have come through more.
The really good point was about critiques and unsuccessful applications of your devices you're proposing. Yeah, she needs to know critiques of lead balls or why they fell. Or
Yeah,
So these things are not, I agree that they're probably not without their flows, so it will be the next thing to find out some critics of decent and what would you say to that?
and I think you need to highly justify the retreat. Well, you need to justify the whole lot, really. I mean, it's really similar to a project that we saw from Shane on coastal remedy. It is almost, do you know the project? One of your colleagues, well, not colleagues, but before your time maybe, or at the same time? After?
Shine, yeah.
He's doing a project in
Matakan? No.
Omaha.
Omaha?
The harbour.
Omaha.
Fangatiao.
Yeah.
So that was identical project basically. And I, if you suggesting retreat, you need
Yeah.
to kind of
You chase them.
like, okay, I'll just wait until the water comes, I'm not going to demolish my house, which is, $2.5 million before the water is in my bathroom. And when the water is in my bathroom, I'll just sue someone in an insurance company to, recover the thing.
which is the debate they're having now.
Yeah. So, you need to kind of justify.
But I mean, there is obviously at the moment in America after Cyclone Sandy, they are carrying out programs of demolishing houses, allowing retreat zones on the New Jersey shoreline. So I think it's really a matter of Qianlin framing up that strategy.
And
Yeah.
in the Netherlands as well,
Yes, they're doing retreat. They're actually buying up houses, buying up land to allow for retreat areas.
I don't know, at least
Yeah.
with a little bit of data, like,
Well,
are you
yes.
proposing to destroy 5% to increase the value of the rest by 90%? I don't know, something credible.
But I also think you could use the failure of sea walls to justify some of these. I think that would be useful because you had them as a kind of a positive somewhere.
The sea walls were negative.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were, but then I saw her proposing a combination. I thought, and maybe not. Yeah. But I think yes, using the failures of seawalls might go some way to justifying retreat.
So maybe our economists can
Yeah.
insurance.
Sure.
What happens when insurance company stops insuring your $5 million beach house?
Well, it help actually.
And not ask for more seawalls.
Yeah.
I think the discussion raised is a key one. The retreat is dramatic and the community opposition because the costs involved are huge, and so it'd be useful. First, I was surprised you actually ended up your presentation on this sort of thing because I didn't see it coming. Because you was so fundamentally looking at different things earlier on, and then sort of you were crossed along by Matthew to land on here, and I didn't see the logic sort of deducing it. And on this issue, what I see is a heck of a lot of expansion and of the dunes, which some people, that's a substantial change and would be contentious enough in and of itself, let alone the retreat. And so this really needs to be, this is going to be one heck of a grudge purchase if everyone bought up to it, and bought into it. And there needs to be quite a big emphasis on what the nature of the problem is. So the two examples of the Netherlands and what was it? New Jersey. Yeah. So they might have some substantial storm surge issues and sinking land, whereas I don't know. This doesn't strike me as having the same nature of problems, given that it's protected by the islands out further. And so a bit more emphasis on what the problem is, what the options are. I know you've had it in scope as natural solutions as opposed to unnatural solutions like concrete walls, but it'd be good if you just sort of went through, like, here's the options, we're going to cross some of these off the list, and you brought a reluctant audience to land on this difficult to swallow solution, and they can see that this is the best solution out of all the options that are available to solve what is actually a demonstrably serious problem. I think people probably wouldn't even think it's that big a problem, because when you go there at the moment, you just see the grass sort of sinking a little bit, and you kind of think, well, that's just normal. But whereas this is sort of a serious solution to, you've got to make it a serious problem and make it apparent in the first place. So,
Well, the fact that they're losing their beach is the fundamental one. It's actually disappearing at a
I
rate.
think you should find some predictions about the sea level rise and show
Yeah.
us what parts.
Kind
with
of,
the
kind of.
with the wet sand, but I mean, it doesn't look like a really big problem.
Yeah, but if we go,
It
just
is a
go
problem,
to
I
the
know, you need to
sea
emphasise
level
it.
rise maps that you did for,
Yeah, everything is underwater. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
the
this-
power
yeah.
behind your
Yeah.
whole
Yeah. Say
presentation.
with the 1 meter sea level rise, this all goes underwater.
Buildings.
Yeah.
With the 2 meters, I mean 3/4 of the
Yeah.
level at all. So you have to find some predictions what is expected.
can you reframe that so that you've got like with like? The last one, home zoned in on, was close enough scale that you can see individual people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That one's quite abstract, and I can't read the key, and I just see
I
three
can't
things,
see
and
what
it's
houses are,
not
It doesn't.
not effective. Not like the other one was making it quite personal.
Also, the colours, yellow is
Yeah,
actually
sand.
water,
Yeah.
but it's actually, it's
Sand.
actually,
Yeah.
so
It
I'm
has
looking
to
at them
be
going,
built, yeah.
sand or?
You want people to have the same emotional
Yeah.
response when they see that
Okay.
as they do when they saw your last one. When they see the last one, they're going to be reeling. Like, oh shit! Like, you're going to be knocking down lots of $2.5 million homes. You want
But it's
people to be
gonna happen
reeling
anyway.
and having the
But
same
it's-
sort
you
of
need to
holy
emphasise.
heck when they see that.
Yeah.
A lot worse, and it's going to be more than 2.5, a few 2.5
Yeah,
million. It's going to be all at the
For
90%.
the benefit of everyone else, is
Yeah.
this is a acceptable
So
loss.
this is, yeah.
So it's the kind of visual communication.
At least in all your drawings needs to be almost this big line, blue line, of where the water is at any, 1 meter, 2 meter high.
Or even over time. Here we are now.
So when you go back to the last slide, the one before the fence, all the buildings that you are proposing to remove, are they already underwater or no?
The reef.
Not the reef, the ones that you are removing. If you go back to the last one,
Yeah.
the previous last, the solution of retrieve.
Too many slides.
That one. All these ones here
Yeah.
that you are planning to remove,
Uh,
are they underwater or not?
No, it's farther along.
Yeah,
If
that's-
the sea level,
the-
if there is a sea level rise, there will be.
Well, that's the sea level.
Yeah, this is a current
For
coastline,
what? That's
the blue
current.
one. And
Where is the new one, the 2 meters one?
no, this part will 2 meters one. This whole areas will be under the risk of flooding. And
You need to be
yeah,
shown.
If the 2 meters line is here,
There we get it.
you have an
Yeah.
underwater
yeah,
wall
yeah.
that you have spent millions of dollars anyhow.
Uh,
So
So we need what you're saying.
if you manage to draw this with the 2 meters water line with this, then you have created a good public
Value.
space.
Mm.
So think it's important to.
I mean, you understand this.
Yeah.
You're just talking others.
Okay.
It's more communicating,
Yeah.
communicating the design rather than changing something.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
You might also, once you've shown the nature of the problem and that it can be solved, part of like letting everyone land on your preferred solution is to say, what are some of the reasons for discarding non-natural solutions? It might be that the community says our objectives are to solve the problem, minimise harm, and still have the area being highly amenable, so that we still have the whole value of why we love this place and why we want it to still be a beautiful beach area. And then that starts to, once you've got buy into that, that allows you the logical ability to cross off the list those non-natural solutions. Rather than just saying, oh, it was out of scope, we don't like it. When you're dealing with contentious community issues, people require you to go through and exhaust all of the options. You will fail by having taken out a scope from the get-go, from early on, too early, ruling out solutions that people say, well, why didn't you think about just putting a concrete wall up? I'd rather have my house and have a concrete wall up than not have my house.
Yeah.
So and the whole thing will unravel. So that's just some advice on how to go from a long list down to a short list. And
Also, I mean, you had something like, traffic analysis there. I didn't see any reason for that to be there at all. But it might be useful to have some historical photographs which shows, how the beach has retreated already. And that would also demonstrate your estuary change without having to go through that in so much detail, I
I
think.
think the traffic analysis is just relevant to show that there is a major road running parallel to the beach.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on that we can think of got to wrap things up.
Okay.
And we've just got one question from Qianlin.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it coastal inundation place, the middle one on blue color?
Sorry? What was that?
Say again.
Is it coastal inundation place, the middle one on blue color?
Is a coastal inundation place in blue? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a public space.
Oh.
So we set-
Well, we don't know because we don't know where is the 2 meter
yeah.
water line, isn't it? Might be
It does look a bit
underwater.
like that, doesn't it? Graphically, it looks a bit like that.
Yeah.
Well, we've also got a possible erosion coastline. I'm not absolutely sure what that means.
Oh, this region nationalized is a possible erosion coastline. This is from the Auckland's report. It says that possible. So I put this here just to show that if the erosion, if the coastline retreat 28 meters, the whole buildings in front of the town center will be under the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay. But just being a little bit clearer.
erosion of what?
I think it needs to be more clear.
Yeah. So, thanks very much, Helen. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you.